Now, have you ever come across a difficult boss or a toxic boss? The culture, it's really toxic in a work environment. And in this particular video, I want to share certain tips as to how you can deal with a toxic boss or a toxic manager, any type of leader who is really toxic. And what I want to do is I want to share my own experience. In my early days, in my early 20s, what happened is I got a job as an assistant chief accountant in this furniture manufacturing company. They had about 70 employees. It was a family-run business, and I was employed as the assistant chief accountant. And we had a chief accountant, and after that, it was the managing director. Like I said, it's a family business. They were brothers, so they were running the show. And so what I want to do is I want to share my experience, what I did, how it really helped me to be more resilient as well in future. So that's what I want to do. And for those who don't know me, my name is Vijay Mistri. I help leaders, directors, entrepreneurs become high performers. And I also help companies double their profits in 12 months' time. That's what I do. And post-pandemic, I've helped over 100 leaders, directors, managers, executives become high performers as well as help companies grow their profits. So let's go straight into this particular short presentation, which is going to give you some insights of how to deal with a toxic boss. First and foremost, I want to share my particular scenario as to what really happened. Now, in my particular case, what happened is that I had not one boss, but I had two bosses. What happened is I was reporting to the chief accountant, but then I used to have these interruptions from the managing director who would even ask for certain reports and other things. So I had two bosses and I was under pressure because both of them had their own demands and their own expectations. There was lack of accountability in that particular environment, which was pretty stressful and frustrating for me. The second point I want to share with you is the treatment. Now, here's the thing, my dear friends. I was not treated well. There was isolation. So the managing director in particular had these 2 or 3 people whom he really liked. So he was paying more attention to them rather than the other staff. So the others was isolated, and I was one of them who felt isolated. Secondly, they did not have a listening capability, and I'll be sharing what really happened in my particular scenario as we move forward to other points. The third thing was they were very snappy as well. So the approach, the attitude, it was not really conducive. It was not really pleasant as well. So you are really in stress and frustration all the time. So the treatment was really poor, and there was no appreciation for whatever work you do as well. The other thing was credit. Now, this is very interesting. What happened is that the chief accountant, even he was scared. And what was happening is that he took all the credit for the work that I did. So I was doing all the reports. I used to do the forecasts. I used to do the analysis. I used to even do the charts as well, the financial charts and analysis and all that is required. But what happened is he took all that particular credit. So there was no credit given to me, but he took all the credit, and the managing director thought he was doing most of the work. And this was something which I really felt bad about, but there wasn't much that I could really do at that particular point in time, because I was just trying to process all this as to what is really going on in this particular company. Another key point was micromanaging. Now, while I'm working, I get shadowed by either the managing director or the chief accountant, pressurizing me to finish what I'm doing or pointing out that I've not done this or I've not done that. So that was really frustrating as well, because it was like everybody was just micromanaging and trying to make sure that I was always busy, and I never had a chance to breathe. It was quite a claustrophobic environment when you are in such a situation. And I don't know if you have gone through this particular scenario, but I'm sharing what I went through and how it really felt. By the way, before I go to the next point, please subscribe, like this video. If you see value in this video, subscribe to my channel, because I'll be sharing more valuable videos, not only about my experience, but others' experiences as well. So there are very many insights I'll be sharing. So please subscribe to my channel. Let's move to the next point, which is very important, and that is expectations. Again, like I mentioned, that besides having many bosses, it was like I was bombarded with more work than what I could really be capable of doing. While other team members, they did not have that many assignments and duties. So what happened is that I was always under stress, and I was always overburdened with a lot of work, and I was always being told that you're not finished your work. And obviously, when you got instructions from two people coming in, that's really very difficult because there's lack of accountability, like I mentioned. So that was another situation. So what I want to do is, I want to now shift gears and give you some clear strategies. And by the way, this is what I really did. And obviously, you must have guessed it by now that I had a plan B, and my plan B was just apply. So I was applying for all the jobs out there. At that time, we didn't have LinkedIn, but at that particular time, I was just applying for jobs. And what I did is I kept on applying for more and more jobs along the way, because I just didn't fit into this particular culture, and I wouldn't expect anybody to fit in that particular culture itself. By the way, the company folded after a couple of years. But the point here is that when you have this toxic culture, that erodes everything. Now, when I'm talking about plan B, and I want you to make these notes. Number one, make sure your LinkedIn profile stands apart. You must have something that is unique. So make sure you have that unique capability, competencies, your skill sets, something that you can show to stand apart. That is number one. So we've got these social media channels out there. The other point I want to share is, if you can, do those short videos. We are in 2024, and for you to stand out, if you can do just those short videos, just those 1-minute videos, which you can upload on YouTube or you can upload on LinkedIn as native videos, what's going to happen is it will showcase you as a thought leader. It will showcase you as one who has the competencies, because you're going to stand apart from the rest. So see what you can do. You can even do blog posts, and you can do other things as well. But whatever your competence is, whatever your skill set is, have this plan B in place from now, and be consistent, be regular whenever it comes to these particular short videos and everything. And obviously we are not perfect, so don't expect to be 100% perfect. I'm not perfect either, but you have to be out there and execute. That is what really matters. So do whatever it takes, but have your plan B in place. The second point I want to share with you is speak out. So here's what I did, is that I went over to my chief accountant one fine day, and I said that, hey, look, this sort of behavior is unacceptable. I don't like the culture. I don't like the approach. I don't like the attitude. This is just, it's unbearable. The chief accountant was scared himself. So he said, you go talk to the managing director. I could override and talk to the managing director. So he said, go to the managing director. And I said, all right, fine, let me go to the managing director. I went to the managing director and I spoke to him. And I told him that, look, this is how I feel, and this is what's been happening, and I'm very uncomfortable with this. And this is what he told me. He said, if you don't like it, leave. So no listening capability. He had no empathy at all. He just didn't know what work I was doing, and he just said, just leave. And what happened is, 2 weeks later, I tendered in my resignation because I already secured another job. And when they got the resignation, that's when he said that now the chairman wants to speak to you. And the chairman was the eldest brother. So the eldest brother comes in one evening and has a dialogue with me and telling me about what a wonderful culture they have. And he's saying that I'll never get a job like this. And in my mind, I was saying, you're absolutely right, because I don't expect to see such a culture. But that made me strong as well. And so the chairman said that, look, I'm not going to accept your resignation. I want you to think about it, because this is a wonderful place to work for. And, he was trying to convince me to stay back. And I told him, I'm sorry, but I've already made my mind. I've already committed at the other place, and I'll be leaving. So the point is, is that you need to speak out, but be prepared with whatever the approach is. Because what happens is when you speak out, sometimes the leader or your boss or somebody might have not realized what is really going on, and they might just correct their behavior as well. So you need to speak out. The other point I want to share with you is, see if you can have a coach. Now, I've helped many team members, and I've helped CEOs as well, and directors and executives. See if you can get a coach, somebody whom you can open up with and talk to, somebody whom you can, express what is going on and your feelings as well. Because what's going to happen is, if you have a coach, that coach is going to guide you and will help you to navigate, but at the same time will help you to keep yourself motivated and empowered, because that is very important. So it's important if you can have some coach or somebody who can help you along the way. Another point I want to share with you is, always record activities. I had a full set of record because I couldn't meet expectations when I was bombarded from the chief accountant and from the managing director. So I had all the records, and I said that, look, this is what I was capable of doing, and this is the timeline. This is how I've done it, but I can't meet all the deadlines as per what you have set here. And the thing is, it was more like they were dictating the terms rather than having that interaction with me and a dialogue asking me that whether it is fine with me to meet those deadlines. So it was very different. So I had those recorded activities which really helped in my particular case. So make sure you have that back trail. Make sure you have those records in place, specific time, what was expected, when was it expected. Have that small log with you, which will help you if you are working for a toxic environment. Now, this is very important. Keep raising your standards no matter what happened. In my case, I even transformed the system within that particular company, because what happened is, I did not want to lower my standards. I did not want to lower the value that I could add to that particular company. But at the same time, it strengthened my identity, it strengthened my brand as well moving forward. So always raise your standards, keep learning and development, move to the next level. Just keep on seeing what you can do to evolve your capabilities as well. This is very, very key. So keep on progressing no matter what. And one way to do that is, like I said, that share a short video or share some insights, which is going to help you to become a thought leader as well in your particular space. And that is going to help you not only make an impact, but it will appeal to other employers as well out there. So keep raising your standards. And another point is, set boundaries. There are communication boundaries. You need to set boundaries. There's certain language which, if they violate those boundaries, those are unacceptable. So have your boundaries set, because there are other steps you can take when somebody violates those particular boundaries. So in your mind, you can accept certain communication elements, but that pattern should be within certain set boundaries, and there shouldn't be any abusive language or other sort of language which is completely unacceptable. So don't let anybody violate those particular boundaries. You have to be very clear about it, because you got value, you have talent, and talent itself and value itself are the key components to leverage any organization. So do not allow anybody to violate those boundaries. And finally, mental health. Now, when it comes to mental health, this is where I became more resilient, and I could accept and I could process better as well, and I could ask the right questions as well. So you need to make sure that you keep yourself strong. Look, I walked on fire, and many others have walked on fire. I'm not asking you to walk on fire, but what my point is that believe in yourself. Have that belief in yourself. And once you have that belief in yourself, what's going to happen is, it's going to strengthen your identity. It's going to make you centered and aligned within as well. So don't let all this play in your mental, thought process as such. So you need to be very strong. and switch off. When you're not in the company, just switch off. You don't need to really think about what your boss said or what happened. You just need to switch off and look for solutions. 80% look for solutions, 20% identify root cause or look into the challenge. So that is what you should really be looking into, is what you can do to resolve the situation. And that, my friends, will help you to move to another level altogether. So I hope these points have really helped you, and I hope you take these on board. I'm sure there must be other guidelines as well, but I believe that if you follow these steps and what I have really mentioned, it will help you to see different opportunities. It will help you to confront situations better, and you'll be more resilient along the way. But at the same time, you open up to new opportunities as well. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video, where I'll share some more value-driven insights to help you make a better impact. Bye for now.